At the Bondi Clinic, Scarlett is fiercely guarding her 3-day-old kittens.
Hey, sweetie. So tiny. Fix that little leg, okay?
Owner Wendy and her family have grave concerns about one of the little girl kittens, Amari.
Normally in a vet clinic, the earliest you ever see a cat is at around 6 or maybe even 8 weeks of age. To see these little kittens so young, it's very much out of the ordinary. So, what's happened? Because these guys have only just been born, haven't they?
Yes, they have. One was the last one that came out. She's come out with a twisted leg, which I'm really concerned about.
When Wendy first brings this kitten out, I look at its legs and straight away know whatever it has, it's serious. That's a very rare thing to see in a kitten, just to have that leg twisted and hanging like that. Essentially, if you look at this leg here, at the base it bends up, which is kind of like her ankle joint.
Yeah.
And here it goes the opposite way.
Yeah.
The clearest way of putting it is that if Amari was a person, she'd be able to bend her foot right around and actually scratch the back of her calf muscle with her toes. That's pretty scary. But she was born this way, wasn't she?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I had tears streaming down my eyes looking at her.
People have told you that she should be put down?
Quite a few vets around my area said you should euthanize her straight away. I refused to because I love the cats. I'll do no matter what to save her.
I'll do what I can. I mean, it's obviously a pretty dramatic issue that she has.
Yeah.
At the Bondi Clinic, Chris is trying to examine baby kitten Amari under the watchful eye of Mum Scarlett.
Is this okay by you, Mum? You're going to take it back, are you? No? It's all right.
Good girl, Scarlett.
In all honesty, my big concern at the moment is looking at that leg, maybe it's just the tip of the iceberg. What I want to do is have a look over her right now and just check there are no other little problems, because quite often if you have a deformity, you can have other issues there as well. We'll just have a look on the roof of her mouth just to check there are no holes there. A classic location for a genetic abnormality is a cleft palate, so it's important to look inside the mouth. It's actually pretty smooth in there. Yeah. Let me just have a little listen to her chest. Thankfully though, listening to Amari's heart, the beats sound clear and crisp. There's one thing we don't need to check, and that's her little voice box. That is fine.
Yes, that's good.
It's working perfectly, isn't it? After doing a full physical examination on Amari, I'm more confident that what we're looking at isn't a genetic abnormality, but I can't be sure. The only way to be sure is with an X-ray. We'll be back, and then I can work out a plan.
Yep, excellent. Let's cross our fingers, eh? Basically, every vet says that she's got no hope, so I'm really hoping Dr. Chris has an answer for me and we can save Amari's life.
At the Bondi Clinic, Chris needs to X-ray tiny, squirming 3-day-old Amari.
This is going to keep on crawling away. Okay, so this doesn't look great, but it's often the best way to keep a kitten that's moving from giving us a blurry image on an X-ray. My real hope is that Amari's problem is purely as a result of her being in the womb and being compressed up one end and never having a chance to really stretch that leg out. X-ray! The X-ray will tell me though if this problem is actually the cause of a serious bone deformity. If that's the case, this issue will not be easy to fix. So you can see this is the normal leg here, and that's the femur coming down to the tibia and fibula. But when we go to the problem leg, we go femur, tibia, fibula, but then it takes this massive deviation out to the side. We've got tendons, we've got ligaments, we've got muscles that have tightened up and twisted and essentially locked that leg into the wrong position.
You're a good girl.
Owner Wendy is anxiously waiting to hear what Chris has discovered.
It'll be heartbreaking to see a bad outcome. I'm really hoping for a good outcome.
So I've had a good look at the x-rays. So what we're dealing with is a purely soft tissue problem. So
Wonderful.
it is something that's just in the tendons, in the ligaments, in the muscles.
Yeah.
What we're looking at is something that has probably occurred during her pregnancy.
Yeah, so she's been squished up
Yeah.
or so forth, beginning
Yeah.
her to not be able to stretch out.
Yeah, so she's got essentially what we call twisted leg syndrome.
Yep.
It's very rare. It occurs in very few kittens, but when it does happen, thankfully, there is something you can do about it. From what I can tell in the x-rays, she's got all the parts of her leg she needs
Normal.
to be normal.
You've made my day already.
When this kitten was born just a few days ago, everyone said, put it down. There's no reason for it to live. Yet she looked at them and said, no, I'm going to make sure this kitten gets a chance. No, you may have saved her life. She clearly sees something in this kitten and sees some sort of hope. My job now is to try to turn that hope into a reality.
It's okay. It's okay, chicken. Good girl.
At the Bondi Clinic, Chris is starting treatment on little Amari's badly deformed leg.
So she may only be 3 days old, but what she's going to get is a pretty intense physical workout.
It's okay. It's okay, darling.
Kitten physio may sound a little strange, but it is exactly what Amari needs if she's going to be any chance of correcting the position of this leg.
If Chris can't straighten the leg, the tiny Tonkinese kitten may never be able to walk properly.
So our first goal is to get that leg straight. So if we straighten it out
Pull
there.
it out.
Okay, we let it go. At the root of this problem is the fact that the tendons that are actually meant to be loose enough to allow Amari's ankle to function normally, they're simply too tight. They're pulling that foot right back around. So we push to the point of resistance, which is right there, and we just hold it there for 10 seconds.
Devoted owner Wendy will have to continue Amari's rigorous treatment at home.
You're going to have to be a bit tough here too, because
understand that, yeah, I'll
she is going to
Scream.
let out a few little screams.
Yeah.
Okay, but
It's all for the best, darling.
yeah,
It's going to be a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours, a lot of having to put up with a poor little thing crying, but I know it's all going to be worth it in the end.
so we're going to, in between the stretching, put her into a splint. You may not be surprised to know that we don't make a lot of kitten splints.
Really?
Yeah, there's not a huge market for it.
No, so it's going to be a makeshift type of...
Homemade. While the idea of the physio is to try to loosen up those muscles and those tendons, the idea of the splints is to really lock it in position and then get the body used to that leg being in exactly that spot.
It's okay, chicken. It's okay.
See how she gets around. It's going to be tricky for her, but the hope is that she'll actually have to move this leg through now.
Yeah.
And that'll build up her leg strength.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's a really nice start for her now. From being told 24 hours ago that this kitten shouldn't be kept alive to now, within the last 20 minutes, actually seeing real progress, it's quite a transformation. Wendy's really been rewarded for her faith in this little girl. All right.
Okay.
Big question's going to be whether Mum approves.
Yeah, she's fine with it.
Yeah.
Couldn't have thought of a better outcome, hey?
She's got a really good chance.
Yeah.
You know, as a vet, sometimes you do wonder whether once they leave the clinic and go home, whether that work will actually be truly done. But with Wendy, knowing her connection to Amari, you know it's going to happen. And she is going to have to work hard if she is going to get the results she deserves with Amari.
Here we go. It's okay, sweetie.
Hello there.
Hey, how you doing?
Been wondering how you've been going.
Good.
Come on through.
Let's go. What I do?
Wendy and Isaac have brought their one-week-old kitten Amari back to the Bondi Clinic.
It's been a couple of days since I've seen Amari, so I'm very keen to see just how she's coped with that splint.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Chris had to use a cotton bud as a makeshift splint on the tiny kitten's badly deformed leg.
Hey.
The unknown for me as I'm taking this splint off is how have her muscles and her tendons reacted to being put in what for them is an unnatural position.
Yeah, the good news is that we're now more comfortable in that straight position. We've managed to correct that twist. Why don't we see if she can actually move around all by herself?
Yeah. She's moving a lot better though.
She is, yeah. See, the will is really there. This foot wants to come through.
The final challenge for Amari's leg is to get into that right angle position with her feet upwards. That way her toes can actually grab the ground as she moves that leg forward, and she might just walk like a normal cat.
So, just like we did a few days ago, we're going to start with just a little bit of physio, just to get it comfortable.
We've made really good progress in just a couple of days, but in many respects, we've had to. This is truly a race against time. We have to get her body used to this new leg position before she gets bigger, and her weight means more force is going through these legs. This time, we need something with a right angle.
Okay.
So, we're going to use a specimen container.
You gotta get more creative on me.
Yep.
The next stage in Amari's treatment is a second splint.
You'll see in a minute, mate.
This time to get her paw in the correct position.
Oh, I kind of understand it now.
Yeah, you getting it?
Getting it.
She's got a bit of a way to go yet. She just has to get used to that leg position and get the strength from that. But she's already lifting it up and she's already keen to move it through, and for her now, walking should actually become easier if she can handle this new position.
And she's a fighter, a big time fighter, and she will continue to fight. Let's put you back into a nice little warm bed, hey? There we go, and you go there. Hey, Amari. Chris won't be long. Now you can have a look at those legs. Hey, we'll see how they're going.
At the Bondi Clinic, Wendy and her children Isaac and Imogen have brought in Amari and a couple of her siblings.
Oh, what a little splint you've had on. Hope it works, hey?
Little Amari is now 6 weeks old, and it's time to see if there's any improvement in her badly twisted leg.
Lots of physio, probably 20 times a day we've been doing stretches and with the splints, and lots of screaming by her, but hopefully it's been all worth it. Now let's put them down, okay? We brought a few others.
As Wendy and the kids are walking in with the kittens, I'm thinking, Amari is just one kitten. Why are there three?
I guess it's a really good thing that I can't actually pick which is which.
My challenge for Chris, well, I brought 3 kittens in today. They're all exactly the same colour, about the same size, and I want Chris to pick which one is Amari. So they are pretty cold there. So if you look at that, he's actually a little boy. You're getting a little bit warmer.
That's not her?
That's not her. Hey?
It's you.
It is you, Amari. You go.
Really?
You really.
But look on those back legs.
She's a muscle girl.
Look at that walking. My mind keeps on going back to that moment just a few weeks ago where I was confronted with a kitten with a badly twisted leg and not much hope of survival. That's a very rare thing to see in a kitten, just to have that leg twisted and hanging like that. Wow, and she's almost able to bend it right up on itself there.
That's what he said, isn't it? Without crying too.
She's a little powerhouse though. I'm actually pushing reasonably hard there. I knew from the moment I gave Wendy those instructions about what she had to do with Amari's leg that she'd find it hard and she'd find it confronting because she had to push past Amari's pain threshold. But looking at what she's done, I'm in awe. She's done a remarkable job. I think you've been through enough hurdles for a lifetime, little one. So you can just enjoy the rest of your life like you're enjoying this chin scratch.
There's no way I would have been able to do this without your help. It's been absolutely tremendous, and I can't thank you enough.
No worries at all. I did my bit, but you're the one that stared down those people that said she should be put down and said, no, I'm going to give her a chance.
Well, that's it. I'm a determined one. She was so cute. Like, there's no way I could do that to a cat.
Yeah. Amari has really occupied a really special place in Wendy's heart. She's been so determined, so dogged, and has made sure that Amari has overcome massive obstacles to be here today. And now she's got a life with Amari to look forward to.
Chris and one of the Bondi Clinic interns, Ali, are answering an SOS after devastating bushfires on the outskirts of Sydney.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I'm Chris, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. This is Ali.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Now, where's the alpaca?
Through here.
Through here? Oh, so this is in here.
Yeah, this is little Jersey.
Hey, little guy.
And his mum fine.
He looks exhausted, doesn't he?
Yeah, poor little fella.
The tiny alpaca is just 3 days old.
So these guys were evacuated from the fire zone?
Yep. I was hoping it would all be okay, but unfortunately not.
I mean, they don't react to stress very well, do they?
No, no. Our farm is under threat of bushfires. The fire line is only 6 kilometres away from us, so I made the decision that we had to get the animals off.
Fine was lucky that Debbie managed to get her out of that bushfire zone in time, but in the stress of being shipped out of there, it's brought on the early delivery of her little baby. And now Jersey is fighting for his life. He's just been lying around like this, has he?
Yeah, he tries to sit up sometimes and then he's exhausted again.
Yeah.
When Jersey first came out, he was limp. Normally within an hour they're up and feeding and they're fine, and he wasn't moving. He was laying there shivering.
Certainly when they're premature, they're not as fully developed, but even so, for him to be this weak and just to be lacking energy like this, I'm just a bit worried there might be something else going on with him. You look at little Jersey and he looks barely alive. Now, even though he wasn't burnt by the bushfires, they could still cost him his life. You know, obviously the stress explains why Mum has done what she's done, and been taken out of her home environment, trucked down here, obviously has a big impact. Now, her problem has become her baby's problem. Yeah. And I guess that's what we need to address here. The first thing I noticed is just how incredibly weak this little guy is. He's having trouble even raising his head. He really should be bouncing around, and he, importantly, should be feeding as well. He's doing neither of those.
Temperature's 38.3.
Okay. I just want to check his light reflexes, just in his eye. That's where mobile phones can be very handy.
Yeah.
So I'm checking two things. First of all, just to see if he has some response to that bright light, but also just to see if he's got any flicking in that eye. So if his eyes are flickering back and forth, then it can indicate that he's got some sort of brain dysfunction at the moment. Okay. They're relatively stable there.
Nothing truly explains why Jersey is so flat. Then all of a sudden, Debbie tells me something that may unlock this whole mystery.
After she had Bub, I noticed her legs had a lot of blood on it, which is quite unusual. They're normally clean.
It's interesting. Having the blood on the back of her legs isn't a normal thing.
No.
It's possible that because she was under stress, the umbilical cord hasn't torn correctly, and he actually may have lost a lot of blood at that time. Now, if he's lost a lot of blood, I mean, how does an animal that's anemic behave? Exactly like him.
Yeah,
very weak,
tired.
very floppy, very tired. And without that blood, he's also at risk of infections and also at risk of developing other problems as well. Knowing now that Jersey's birth was accompanied with a lot of blood makes me worried that he's anemic. He needs one thing, that's blood transfusion. We need a very, very generous alpaca. You know any around here?
Oh, definitely. I can pick you one.
Okay.
Chris has come to the aid of 3-day-old Jersey. The little alpaca is clinging to life after being born prematurely during a bushfire evacuation.
My hunch with Jersey really revolves around two things. First of all, he's anemic and he's lost some blood during the act of being born. But secondly, he's missing some antibodies. Really, the perfect medicine for Jersey right now is blood transfusion.
But first, Chris has to catch a willing donor.
All right, now which one's Boston?
He's over there.
He's the taller one in the middle there?
Yep, arms up.
Here we go. There we go.
go. Good man. A very important job to do. All right, buddy, let's go. Even though Boston is a very calm alpaca, he still may not take too kindly to me taking about 200 mils of blood out of his jugular vein.
Good man.
All right, now when I touch there, I can see the jugular moving up and down. So we're in the right spot. Little burp, Boston.
No, he's about to spit at you.
Is he? That's what you want to
That
hear?
noise was.
He's just getting one armed and ready. Fair enough, I'd be doing the same thing. So you can see it's already running quite nicely there.
Beautiful.
I may be trying to sweet talk you right now, but what you are doing is very generous and very kind, and it's going to make a big difference to a young alpaca's life. So I appreciate it, and I'd also appreciate it if you didn't spit on me once we're done. How's that? All right, so that's a good amount of blood there. Thanks, Boston. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
My hope with this blood transfusion is really two things. First of all, it'll mean more red blood cells in his system and therefore more energy. But secondly, he's getting a big hit of antibodies. Both of those things combined should really perk him up. There we go, mate. Very brave. Seeing how weak he is, the fact is this blood transfusion has to have an effect soon. Otherwise, our little mate's in big trouble. I'm hoping his body is now being filled up with energy, with antibodies. He's going to be carrying so much more oxygen around. All I can do right now, though, is wait.
But now Jersey's mum also needs Chris's attention.
All right, so we need 2.5 mils for her.
An antibiotic injection should prevent any post-birth infections.
You've been very good.
She was trying.
She made her feelings very, very clear, though. Okay, so that should be the whole family taken care of. This time you're waiting for your treatment to take effect, minutes can seem like hours.
It's now been 20 minutes since his transfusion, and so far, Jersey has failed to respond.
Come on, little buddy, come on. Nice work.
This is just amazing.
First steps.
Well done.
Thank you. I'm relieved. He looks good.
He's never done this before. This is just amazing.
That's great. It's really good. Jersey's hopped to his feet and run straight over to his mum and suckled for the first time in his life. It's incredible.
So cute to hear him sucking.
When you meet a little guy like Jersey whose life is in turmoil, you hope that in some way you can make a difference. And seemingly today, we've done just that.
This is a little stray kitten. There actually was 5 of them. We lost 2.
Okay.
But
and
the other one's okay.
How old are they now?
They're around about 6 weeks old now.
Okay, all right. Look, we don't actually know what's causing the problem with these kittens. The most important thing that I can do is actually give them a full medical, make sure that they haven't got any life-threatening problems that we need to deal with straight away. All right, let me take a look at them. So pop him down. The little guy, has he got a name? Not yet?
No,
what they are, males.
because we're not quite sure, yeah.
Sorry, honey. It's a little boy.
Little boy, okay.
Let's just have a listen. Just gonna check if he's got a heart murmur.
How's that sound?
He does have a little heart murmur, and he's obviously had some vomiting and diarrhea, so he's definitely got something going on with his gastrointestinal tract. And being this age, the most common thing is something infectious, the fact that the others haven't seemed quite right. If he hasn't been wormed, we could be dealing with some sort of parasite like worms. The other thing that might be happening is just simple malnourishment. So if their mum's not a great feeder, they're not going to thrive. I think if you would have waited a few more hours, he would have come in here probably collapsed. That's how quickly things can change. Linda and Steve have done an amazing job. These kittens aren't even technically theirs, and they're spending their own money to fix them, and these kittens are very, very lucky to have found them. Another little boy.
Another boy. There you go.
He's also not 100%, I think. Yeah, she's a lot smaller than...
Yeah. Sometimes you just worry about them as well because they're also so small.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me take a look at the third one.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in much better condition than the other little guy, hey? Yeah, your belly is a lot fuller than the others. You've been stealing all the food, hey? Yeah, we got a girl. So the lady of the bunch has been stealing all the food. Okay. So options are the two little boys that seem quiet and are not eating well. The best possible thing we could do for them is probably putting them on a drip. The other thing is that they all are looking pale, and it probably would be a good idea to take a little blood sample and just check how anemic they are.
Yep.
Look, these guys are so tiny that they can spiral out of control. I've seen kittens that come in looking okay, and then a few hours later they've crashed and burned. So we've got to act fast. We've got to get those fluids into them. They're only little babies and they need that nutrition fast. You can see a little vein. I need to work out how anemic he is, as well as working out if his blood sugar level is low or not. So he's had not much to eat or drink. He's had some vomiting and diarrhea. He's only tiny and he can go downhill really quickly.
Very brave. I know, Munchkin.
In reception, foster parents Steve and Linda are anxiously waiting for news.
They're just doing their best trying to survive. Fingers crossed it's all okay.
Yay! Oh, you're all right, sweetie. That's good. Yay. You got normal glucose.
That's not bad. It's not so bad.
Let's try number 2. This one is a little bit more of a wriggler.
Well done.
I knew you wouldn't stay
you'll be a
still. Okay.
Well done. All right, Munchkin.
It's proving quite difficult to actually get a blood sample from him. He's got such tiny little veins. Not a happy camper.
All right, Munchkin. I know. You're all right.
Oh, I got a drop. Right. 12.7, perfect. So we have 2 normal blood sugars. I'm not even going to test the third kitten because she's the one that actually has the most energy out of the lot, so I'm going to save her the pricks. Next step is we're going to pop the 2 little sick boys onto a drip, get some fluids into them. Hopefully they'll start feeling a lot better and get some food into them as soon as possible.
While the 2 boys have to stay at Sash, there is some good news for their sister.
With the actual girl kitten, she's actually coming home with us. She's strong enough to come home. That is a bit of good news. Come on, let's go home, get some sleep, eh?
We're going to attempt to pop them on fluids. They've got tiny little legs and tiny little veins. All right, Bubby, you'll be good now.
Come on, Munchkin.
That was actually really brave. That catheter went surprisingly well. I'm quite amazed how easily we got that vein.
Can you go back to bed? Let's just hope your brother's as good.
So what did he weigh?
330.
Oh, you're the little one. Yeah, the tiniest one, but the hardest one to handle.
The naughtiest
pocket
one
rocket. I can't even see it, it's just like collapsed.
I know.
Okay, kitty fan.
With such tiny veins, the question is, will Lisa be able to insert the much-needed fluids into the sick stray?
Look, if we don't get this in, we're not going to be able to give this kitten IV fluid. Right now he's fighting, so it's not making our job much easier at all. Deary me. This one's had no vomiting or diarrhea. He's eating on and off. He's just a little flat, so hopefully we can syringe feed him and that will be enough. So I don't think it's worth struggling with him to get that tiny little vein. We'll keep an eye on this little kitten, and I'm glad he's here, and we can watch him really closely. If he goes downhill at all, we can treat him straight away.
I'm thinking about eating. You can drink on your own, really. You can drink on your own? It's not 100% sure. It probably tastes a bit strange. Want some more? I'm not really suckling. Or just jumping the end. You're not supposed to bite it.
It's been a big day for the little strays. The staff at SASH will monitor the tiny brothers overnight to make sure their condition doesn't deteriorate.
The sick little kitten is on a drip, which is the most important thing. He had vomiting and diarrhoea and we're replenishing his fluids. His brother didn't want a catheter, but fortunately he's not the one that had gastro, so he's going to get away with just being syringe fed and hopefully he's not going to go downhill overnight. All right, let's take you in bed. Okay. Look, your brother's in there fast asleep. Now don't disturb him. You can cuddle up and have a good little sleep as well. All right, he's on a drip and he's getting better. And you follow his lead. All right, kitty, in you get. Oh, good boy. Yeah, you're still pretty flat. Why are you not eating well?
It's been 24 hours since 2 stray sick kittens were admitted to SASH.
Your brother's on a drip and you're going to have to go on one too, sweetie.
The 6-week-old brothers were close to death, suffering dehydration and malnutrition.
I'm really worried about the smallest kitten. He's still really flat. We gave him overnight to see if he would start eating on his own or take the syringe feeding, and he doesn't want a bar of it. He's getting progressively more lethargic. So I'm going to put him on fluids and he's going to feel a whole lot better once they get into him.
With the life-saving fluids slowly being administered, Lisa now turns her attention to helping the little kittens consume some much-needed food.
That's good. Yummy. Nice, that's a good boy. You're gonna feel so much better, but we can't send you home till you eat by yourself. That's a boy. Look, these kittens are homeless, so they need a lot of love. They need a lot more nutrition and care than they've been getting. Linda and Steve have done a wonderful job bringing them in and looking after them. And without them, they'd be on the street and they wouldn't have stood a chance. As comfy as can be.
It's been 2 days since these tiny brothers arrived at SASH fighting for their lives.
Sorry to wake you, buddy, but I got good news.
But before Lisa gives the all clear for these kittens to return to foster care as Steve and Linda,
It's dinner time.
she has one final test for the 2 strays.
Yeah, it is. It's dinner time. Now show me how you eat. Come on. Hey, look at you. You're a little piggy. Hey, is that yummy? When this little kitten came in, I was worried that there was a chance he wouldn't even make it. And now he's eating by himself, and that is a huge improvement.
His feisty little brother is also showing he has a healthy appetite.
Ah, I'm so proud of you, little one. Look at your messy face. Is that yummy?
In reception, Steve and Linda are eager to take the little brothers home.
I thought it'd be great to see them jumping around and see their appetite up, and yeah, it'd be good to see. Fingers crossed it's all good from here.
Look how good they look.
Oh, thank you, Ta. Oh, hello. You guys are standing up and looking alert. That's just excellent.
Yeah.
There you go. Hello.
It's pretty amazing how caring some people are. These kittens were strays, they didn't stand a chance, and then Linda and Steve took them in. These kittens are going to warm the hearts of whoever takes them in, just like they've done to mine. Do you think you'll find these little guys home, or are you going to?
Oh, well, actually fairly easy, I think, too. Except I want to make sure they go somewhere good.
Otherwise they'll be staying with you. Yeah.
Don't give people ideas. Do you want to go home and see Mum now? Yes, no, maybe? What about your sister? She's waiting for you. Is she all right?
At the Bondi Clinic, bird expert Josh Cook has shattered the peace with a screaming baby. The little sulphur-crested cockatoo was found on a nearby golf course after plummeting 20 metres from his nest.
He wouldn't have lasted, overnight without
a fox or a dog or a cat and eating him. So yeah, he was lucky to be found.
There's a very strange sound coming from the waiting room.
Josh has named the noisy cocky Kettle for obvious reasons.
Josh.
G'day, Chris.
How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. So I've got this little cocky who's pretty glad to see you too.
He doesn't look too glad to see me. Look at him.
No.
And you can see pretty clearly compared to the other good leg, that one's hanging pretty limp. You've got to be thinking break. But my fear is there may be more than one break, and there could also be a dislocation in either that knee joint or the ankle joint. Either way, it's a serious injury. You look at Kettle and he's the absolute picture of vulnerability. He's small, he's skinny, he doesn't have any feathers to his name, and he's lost and alone. And he might have a fractured leg. He's in a bad way. He's not known for his silence, Kettle, so it'll take a fair bit to subdue this beast.
Oh, he looks so defeated.
That's the fracture we're obviously looking for through there. The fortunate thing for Kettle is that he's probably got one of the best bird people in the country on his side, and you know, if anyone's going to nurse him through this, it's Josh. All right.
How'd he go?
Yeah, so he certainly does have a fracture there.
Yep.
It's a longitudinal fracture, so it's not straight across.
Oh, okay.
It's sort of at an angle,
right,
across the bone like that.
Yep.
But it is only one fracture. It's been a real blessing. The trick's going to be whether we can actually get this to heal.
Yeah.
The big concern I had from the start was how much nerve damage Kettle had suffered in that foot from that injury. He's still not really clenching his toes. He doesn't really have that perching reflex. That's got to start appearing soon. Otherwise, Kettle really doesn't stand a lot of chance of being released back to the wild. It's going to be very delicate.
Okay.
Incredibly hard to do, these splints. For these sort of procedures, we use some very high-tech equipment.
Okay.
Okay. So they mightn't look like much, but between a set of chopsticks, a paddle pop stick, and a plunger, I can pretty much fix any bird's leg. Just try me. So I think that syringe plunger might actually be the winner.
Okie doke.
So it'll just cushion him if he tries to walk on it. If anyone ever thought they had a bad day, they should look at you tonight, Kettle. Look at you. You're having a terrible one.
Kettle's saviour, bird carer Josh Cook, may just have the answer to silence the pint-sized screamer.
You like that, do you? Still whistling. One more, but look at this. Look at this. You're full. Did it stop the whistling? No. Not even close. Seem to rest, little buddy. I'm going to be seeing a lot of Josh over the next few days and then over the next few weeks, because these sort of things, they require constant monitoring. There you go.
Okay.
No problem.
See you, Chris.
Thanks, mate. I'll see you soon. If that splint's too tight, it'll cut off the circulation to his toes, and that'll really inhibit healing. But if it's too loose, then that bone's going to keep on moving and the bone won't start to mend. Get that? He's still here. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, likewise. Come on through.
Thank you.
It's a big welcome for Chris at Josh's bird menagerie.
Here he is.
Kettle, the screaming cockatoo, is ready for his final checkup.
Look at you. That's fully dressed now. Our little boy's grown up.
This is how Kettle looked when Josh first brought him into the clinic after the baby broke his leg. What a difference 2 months has made.
You take the cast off. Look at that. Nice and straight.
moment of truth.
Oh.
Nice work.
Oh, shake it off.
In a few more months, the lucky cocky should be ready for release.
Where's the whistle gone? Yeah, you'll be proud of yourself, aren't you?
A newborn swamp wallaby has been rushed into the Bondi Referral Hospital Sash after a car killed his mother.
Geez, he's strong, isn't he?
Yeah. He's
Wow,
very
but
young
he's
though.
very, very young. All right.
So little.
So little.
Yeah.
These are tiny neonatal animals and they are very fragile and they'll die fairly quickly. So the most critical things are to keep him warm, check him out for internal injuries or any structural injuries, and then get some nutrition into him. We just see if everything's working all right inside. His heart sounds good. He's got no blood around his mouth or his nostrils. He's nice pink colour, his gums are nice and pink. His legs are good. His tail looks pretty strong. His abdomen feels all right. He doesn't have any obvious bruising or anything.
Yeah.
Everything checks out pretty well.
Seems like a bit of a fighter.
He is. He's been very lucky, to be fair, because he could have been damaged in the road accident. He could have been there for a day or more and suffered from malnutrition and dehydration. And so, thankfully, he's in a fairly stable condition, so we can now transfer him to a carer who can feed him, keep him warm, and hopefully give him the start in life that has been taken away from him. Now we need to make sure he does not get cold because he has no hair on him. So let's get him into a heat warmer and he can get some nutrition, all right?
Yep.
We're in the middle of Sydney. We don't get a lot of joeys, but it's nice to see in the city that we still have this sort of wildlife around. And it's exciting and hopefully we can get a good result.
Oh, look at you. You're going to be such a big boy when you grow up, Bean. You look so cute.
At Sash, little orphan Joey is getting plenty of attention. But now he's well enough to be handed over to a specialist carer from the rescue group Wires.
Raising these little joeys is hard work. They're like tiny little infants, like baby humans, baby horses, baby joey, kangaroos. They all take round-the-clock care, so they're a lot of work and you need to be very dedicated and experienced to do it. Come on in, Maureen. Let me introduce you to little Joey.
Oh, wow.
So he's been christened. He's pretty feisty, Maureen, and he looks pretty well as far as I can work out. He just needs some good nursing care, I think, and obviously being how young he is, I think he's going to be a handful for you.
Yep. Yeah, he's very lucky that he was found. Not many people will stop for dead animals and they don't stop and check pouches either.
There you go, little mite, you get in there. Got a new mum now. Maureen's going to take care of you. That's great.
The little orphan will be fed 6 times a day and eventually, when he's strong enough, be released back into the wild.
And that's what the ultimate aim is, to get Joey healthy enough that he can look after himself, fend for himself, and be released hopefully into a national park somewhere close by to what his territory was originally or his mother's territory was. That's the critical thing. Okay. All right, Joey, good luck, little mate.
Thanks, Steve.
Hope all goes well.
Okay.
Good luck, Maureen.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's settle you in and we'll get you home and give you a feed. I love caring for Joey's. It's very satisfying. The next step is I'll take him home, keep him warm, and then feed him 24/7 till he's ready to be released.